I was just back in town after riding around out in the country for about an hour or so on this day, and I'd been going through town, and I'd been out on the highway 100 k's an hour, going through bends and twists and turns, and I'd got pretty well all the way through town when I took off from a set of lights and I had to do a U-turn. And as I went to pull the front brake on to slow the bike down and to stop the bike, there was something blocking my front brake lever, and I couldn't pull it all the way in. And so it was a bit of a surprise, I must say, and I just instinctively just hit the back brake and pulled as much as I could on the front brake to stop myself, and thought, what the heck's going on? I waited for the traffic, and as I'm sitting there waiting for the traffic so I can do my U-turn, I'm going through my head what could be blocking the lever. Now I had to keep my eyes on the traffic, and there's vehicles behind me, and I did my U-turn and pulled over, and I thought maybe that the front brake lever is very close to the throttle cable tubes, and I do have to be careful when I'm adjusting the lever. I want the lever up as much as I can get it for braking, but if I go too high, it will jam and hit those throttle tubes. So I thought maybe the front brake lever had sort of rolled around a little bit or come loose and was hitting those tubes. But when I got off the bike and had a good look, I could see it was actually the Atlas throttle lock. It had worked its way to be really loose and was now in a position where I just couldn't pull the front brake all the way in. Now, I'm making this video because it's not an alarmist video or, you know, throttle locks are dangerous or anything like that. The purpose of the video is to not do what I did. On one of my recent rides, I did notice that the throttle lock was a little bit loose, and I thought I'll have to work out how to tighten it up when I get back home. And of course, you know, by the time I got back home, I completely forgot about it. But that wasn't that long ago. And so it's quite interesting that this particular lock on my bike went from being a little bit loose to really loose in a very short period of time. Now, on this ride, I did hit a big pothole, and I'll make another video on that, what happened there. And it may have shaken the throttle lock and spun it around. But I had been braking, you know, for about half an hour before it actually jammed on the front brake lever, so I'm not sure if it had. But and looking back at the footage, I can see it's actually hanging upside down. The buttons are down, facing down, even on that section of the ride. So it had already come loose by that point. So, long story short, I've readjusted the throttle lock and tightened it up, and all you need to do is just tighten it with this T10, I think it is, screw, and it tightens it right back up again, and everything's back to the way it was. This is just a little video to let you know if you've got one of these throttle locks, the Atlas throttle lock, just watch it and be careful, and if it starts to get a little bit loose, get onto it straight away and make sure you tighten that T10 screw to make sure it's really tight, because like I said, it went from being a little bit loose to completely loose in a very short period of time, spun around, and I couldn't apply my front brake. On this day, fortunately, I wasn't heavy braking, I wasn't needing to do an emergency stop. I was just coming to a normal stop at 60 k's an hour or 37 miles an hour, and it wasn't an issue. But you know, if I had been really going for it or had to do an emergency stop, I wouldn't have stopped in the time I probably need to stop. So this is just a precautionary warning. If you've got one of these throttle locks, check it, make sure it's tight, and just keep an eye on it and make sure if it gets a little bit loose to tighten it up. Alright, that's it for this video. If you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye for now.